At the age of 8, I became a ghost, rising from the shallow grave my stepfather had buried me in, behind the house in the woods. I still remember the moment he killed me. I knew it was coming. You can feel when someone hates you, right? It's like a heavy, dark force coming straight for you, ready to crush you. I could tell he was going to hurt me. The way he looked at me, the way he never used my name, the way he always seemed to bump into me. He had made me fall a few times, even down the stairs, but I wasn't seriously hurt, just bruises. Then one day, my mom was out. I had tried to avoid being alone with him, but he cornered me in the kitchen while I was rummaging through the fridge. The last thing I remember was the look in his eyes as he lunged at me. A flash of excruciating pain, my own scream, the taste of blood, and then darkness. The last thought I had was, well, I guess I'm dead now. When I opened my eyes again, I knew I had turned into a ghost, and my first thought was, now he can't hurt me anymore. I knew humans couldn't touch ghosts, so I felt relief. I stood above the grave he had dug for me and tried to figure out what to do next. Ghosts returned to the places they lived, so I went back to the house. There was nowhere else for me. I didn't go inside. Even though I knew as a ghost he couldn't harm me, I didn't want to be seen. Instead, I went straight to the basement. Felt like the right place for a ghost. I found a quiet spot in the back and made myself a hideout. Time passed. Sometimes, in the middle of the night, I'd sneak up to the kitchen. One night, I crept into their bedroom and stood at the foot of the bed. My mother woke up suddenly, sat up, stared at me, and then screamed and screamed. I ran back to my hiding place in the basement. I never tried to go up again. They moved out of the house soon after, and other families came, but none stayed for long. Turns out, living in a haunted house isn't as fun as people think. Families kept coming and going, and I started to forget what living humans were like. I look back on those years now like a dream, my ghostly existence drifting through the house, the basement, and the woods. Time lost its meaning for me. Then Lily and her family arrived. Lily was often sick and couldn't play like other kids. I overheard that she might not live much longer. I wondered if she'd become a ghost like me, maybe even join me in the basement, creeping through the kitchen and the woods. It wouldn't be so bad to have a companion in the dark, cold basement. So, despite what had happened those years ago when my mother screamed and screamed, I decided to visit Lily in her bedroom. One late night, I quietly approached her door, reached for the doorknob, and gently opened it. I heard Lily stir, then sit up. She stared at me in the dim light. I waited for her to scream, but she didn't. Instead, she said clearly, "I heard a little boy haunts this house, but you're a young man." Nobody had spoken to me in so long. I frowned, trying to understand her words. She spoke again. "Who are you?" she asked. I understood that. "I'm Daniel, a ghost." It had been years since I'd spoken, but the words came back to me. I remembered becoming a ghost. Lily climbed out of bed and walked toward me. "Daniel!" She reached out, took my wrist, and gently led me to a large, shining mirror on the wall. I saw myself, a tall, pale young man staring back at me. I was completely confused. I turned to face Lily. Memories and possibilities began to rush through my mind. Lily said softly, "You're not a ghost, Daniel." I still remember the warmth of the tears that slid down my cheeks. I closed my eyes for a moment, remembering the time I thought I had become a ghost. When I saw the sky, flecks of blue, black, and stars, through the dirt above me, my hands pulling at the earth to free me. I remembered the cool air as I crawled out of my grave and walked home, covered in dried blood. "You're alive," Lily said, and I was alive, standing in her room, looking at myself in the mirror, a young man. A car passed by outside, its headlights shining through the window, illuminating my face. Lily sat me on the edge of the bed. We talked for a while, and from that moment on, I never lived as a ghost again.